Welcome back everyone to Self-Serving Skillet. Today I have a treat for you with that goat cheese that we made last week, but truth be told, this could be made with any soft cheese. Fromage blanc, this could be made with that cream cheese we made about a month ago. We are gonna make chevre croutes, or goat cheese fritters. We're just gonna measure out maybe an ounce or so of this cheese, probably about 30 grams per fritter. And these are going on a strawberry salad, wonderful strawberry salad for summer. And sometimes I would just put the cheese right on the salad with the strawberries, a little bit of like a white balsamic vinaigrette would be very nice. But today we're gonna do something a little bit elevated. We are going to make these into patties, coat them with breadcrumbs, fry them in oil, and they are gonna be just so wonderful. So there are really two ways to do this. You can wet your hands and take your chevre and form it into the patty before you put it in your breadcrumbs, and get your breadcrumbs going. There is no three-step station to this. Sometimes we have a flour, then egg wash, and then breading station. That's unnecessary because the breadcrumbs will stick to the chevre just fine. And there is another method as well that I like for different reasons, and that is to just drop the whole clump of cheese into the breadcrumbs and form it in here. The benefit is that your hands don't get as dirty, but the drawback is that your cheese becomes a little bit messier. It becomes a little bit clumpier. You don't get as nice of a patty. So we're gonna demonstrate both here. So a little bit more effort to get the patty, but keeping my hands a little bit more clean. I think I like this method a little bit better. And there we are. We can definitely make more of them if we want to. I'm just making the one salad, but you could make 3 to 4 of them per person eating, per serving. We're gonna pop these in the freezer for about 30 minutes, get them to set, and then we'll get started on our salad. We're gonna pop these into the freezer for 30 minutes, get them to set, get them to harden up a little bit before we fry them in oil. Then we're gonna get started on our salad. While that's chilling out in the fridge, I've got about half an hour. I'm gonna assemble the rest of my salad, since I'm gonna serve the rest of the salad cold with those nice chevre croutes on top. When we're making a vinaigrette with mustard as our emulsifier, we want the rule of 3. We want 1 part mustard and 3 parts vinegar, and then 3 times that of oil. So I just have a single tablespoon right here, and I'm gonna use about 1/3 full of mustard. Just gonna eyeball it. Too much mustard is not gonna hurt us. If you don't want this to taste like mustard at all, you can buy a mustard powder that doesn't really have a very mustardy taste, and it just kind of acts as that emulsifier. And then this Syrah vinegar that I made from that Syrah that I opened in our wine service video, 1 tablespoon. And that's the point where I will make sure that all of this is mixed into sort of a vinegar and mustard paste. Now I was using the teaspoon for easy math, because what is 3 teaspoons but a tablespoon? So I can use a tablespoon, which is dirty at the moment. So I'm gonna use half of this 1/8 cup, which is 2 tablespoons. Now this is extra virgin olive oil. And I want to drizzle this in slowly so that it has a chance to bind with that vinegar, bind with the mustard. And slowly you're going to see that this salad dressing is coming together. It's going to come together nicely and form something that's going to be very coating to our greens. And a couple handfuls of washed and dried. This is a combination of green leaf lettuce and red leaf lettuce. We're just gonna throw that in there. And tongs, use them for everything. And we'll just toss those to coat them in oil. And that's the base of our salad right there. A little salt in there just to bring out that beautiful red wine vinegar that we just made. And what I like to do is turn this onto itself to sort of layer up my greens. And there we go, on to the next part of the salad. I have here 4 beautiful strawberries, and we want to make sure, of course, that our knife is nice and honed before we cut into those. Oh, so smooth. These are very ripe. Now, usually I'll come in here with a paring knife or a tomato peeler or something, a tomato corer rather, and get these blossoms out. But I saw something the other day that intrigued me, and so what I'm gonna do is take this little cup here and make sort of a vinegar offshoot from the vinegar that I already made and see how this Syrah and strawberry vinegar turns out. We'll cover that with some plastic wrap in just a minute here. And I think things taste better when they're sliced thin, so I'm gonna take extra care to get these as thin as I can make them. And I was gonna toss these in the rest of the vinaigrette that's in that bowl, but these are so fresh and wonderful. I don't want to cover them up with anything. I'm just gonna throw about 3/4 of my strawberries just randomly on here, and then we'll get our croute ready. So I think that I misspoke before. I think I said refrigerator. These need to go in the freezer for about 30 minutes and they get nice and set. So we are going to heat up a pan with a little bit of oil in it. It's medium-high heat. Brown these on both sides. That's about a tablespoon and a half of avocado oil, which is just a high heat, neutral tasting oil. Use whatever high heat, neutral tasting oil you like. The lack of hissing sounds tells me that my oil isn't quite hot enough yet, but there are bubbles coming out, which is a good sign, which is what you want to see. So I think that I'm gonna wait just a minute before I put the rest in. It's important to flip them with confidence. I was a little bit too slow in my flip there, and I tore off this breading, which I was trying to keep on there. That's what makes it the croute. That'll be delicious later. Let's get my spatula back to not having all this crud on it, and we'll flip this. And we drain paper towels. Those are gonna be beautiful, even if one doesn't have the crust. Can already tell. It's gonna be amazing. It's very important that they stay undisturbed for the amount of time that they're down. You don't wanna start to flip them until you start seeing brown peek around the sides. All of that breading is setting, all of the cheese on the outside is kind of congealing to protect that inner gooey layer. And we're about there. There we go. Getting these a little browned, which is just fine. Burnt is a judgment in my house. And now we assemble. Right, wonderful. We're gonna place these croutes just on top of our strawberries here. Use the underside of this one where the crust peeled off kind of, and then this one it wasn't quite set, but that's okay. It's the warm cheese that is kind of the point. Oh man, all right. So we're gonna finish this with a little bit of kosher salt over the top, just a few cracks of pepper. Just that buttery warmness of the goat cheese, just that little bit of goaty earthiness is wonderful. And the mustard in the dressing really just helps to cut through that fat, so you're left with this nice, clean mouthfeel. Strawberries, nice and sweet. Always go with goat cheese. This is amazing. Get in the kitchen, make yourself something awesome. If you missed when I made this goat cheese from scratch from goat's milk, that was last week's episode. We're gonna throw it right up here. And then we've made a whole bunch of salads on the show before. There you go.